everyone, to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michelle A. Mayer podcast. Always excited about coming forward. Today is absolutely no different. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope I have met you all in the highest of spirits, firing off on all cylinders. Today is going to be, hopefully it's going to be quick. I wrestled with coming forward. I wasn't even going to do a podcast today. I was going to sit and think, and I was actually reflecting this morning and writing down notes as to what direction I want to take in the upcoming year. Now that I know what I know, you know what I mean? Like, don't we get to a point where we've gathered as much experiences in anything that, we focus so much on, to the point that we could take it up a notch? So that's kind of where I'm at with my walk. I feel like I have enough experience to kind of begin manifesting things that I just wasn't sure that I could manifest when I first came forward. I'm 3 years in. Can you believe this? I am 3 years into this chaotic, ridiculous walk, blessed walk that I've had. It's 3 years. It's actually over 3 years that I have been doing this. And I was sitting on the sofa and I was thinking about all the highs and lows of all of my experiences in this walk. It's been really crazy. It's been the most eventful and the most spontaneous experience I've ever had in my life. Literally, it has been the most challenging experience that I've had thus far, and only because it's been so ambiguous. It's just been not something that I can forecast out. I have had seasons of my life, most recently, come upon me that I just have not been able to plan for. I can't even plan my tomorrows because I can't see that far out most times. So everything that I've done thus far has been really what has come upon me at the moment. Even these podcasts that I come forward with, they are momentary decisions. Honestly, I don't plan them out in advance. I haven't had the luxury in doing so. Not even the Bible studies have I been able to do that. And it has really forged another aspect of myself forward. It's chiseled another characteristic from me that I didn't have to bring forward before, that I possess, but I just didn't have to showcase that side of me. And so, now that I've gotten that under my belt and I'm a little bit more fluid in my my activities, I'm looking to level up this next year. And so I was sitting on the sofa thinking of different ways of expanding upon what I'm already doing. And that brings me to the conversation that I want to share with you all. And that is when God proves you, when God puts you on the treadmill of life, the trial and tribulation treadmill is what I call it, or puts you through the trial and tribulation Olympics. What's forged from that are tried and true characteristics. They are aspects of yourself that you already possess, but you just didn't polish up or sharpen. And now they are sharpened and polished up, and they have proven you. I spoke to David in my past communications, many of them. I always speak to the King because he's so monumental in my life. I can align many of the activities that I've experienced to some of the things that David went through. But really what I want to rely upon and convey to you today is not to give you a Bible study, but to give you a real life adaptation to many of the characters that were in the Bible that we can use as reference points to our lives, such as David. David was proven because of something that came upon him immediately. Joseph was proven because of something that came upon him immediately, and that many other people were privy to. And that both David and Joseph felt defenseless to. They had to act. And in them acting, their act wasn't fabricated. It wasn't fake. It wasn't, a fabrication of a distortion. They were acting because they felt as if their life depended on it. They acted because they felt the livelihood of everyone that they loved depended upon it, friend. Have you ever been in a situation where you acted not only for yourself, but for the people you loved? The decisions you made were not selfish decisions. They were decisions that you made because you were concerned that this immediate situation that's come upon you would affect the people you loved. And so what I want to leave you all with today is just to think about the many walks that you all have had in life, the trying times that have come upon you, immediate things that have come upon you, whether it was you went into the hospital feeling as if you could see a doctor and get a prescription and everything would get back better, but you went in there with one state of mind and left out with a life-changing situation upon you. Immediate chaos. Or whether it's you've been on that job 30 years and now you're about to retire and you got everything banking on it and they decide that they're going to terminate you. Or whether you've been in that marriage for a significant amount of your life and you don't know life outside of that relationship, and now that relationship partner does not want to be with you anymore. Immediate chaos comes upon you. And how you act that thing out are your proving seasons. They prove you. You're not being proven. You're not intentionally going about the activities and overcoming those situations and getting a handle on them so that you can have the proven pin on your lapel. No, you're going through those situations so that you can get an upper hand on them and get some sort of order throughout the chaos so that you can manage it and not allow it to manage you. Yet, what you will find at the end of your season or even midway through your season, once you've gotten some sort of handle on your response to the situation, is that you will notice certain characteristics will be forged from you, and you will feel as if you have proven those characteristics. They were not just given to you. They came forward because they were proven. They were proven. Why? Because they were effective in garnering you some form of stability throughout the chaos. And it is this proving process that allows one to feel as if they are accountable. It's the proving that leads to accountability. And accountability is huge. Accountability is one of the biggest assets that you can have in life. Is being able to be accountable, being able to size up yourself or even a situation, and to hold yourself in a truthful regard involving that situation, to be able to see yourself as you truly are without falsehoods, without the training wheels of buffers, such as excuses, whatever the excuses we may create to justify the weaknesses we may have regarding such situations, to be able to hold ourselves accountable more than any other person can, to be able to dissect our truest nature, ourselves, because only we know ourselves better than anyone else, and to be able to look at ourselves and to be able to distinguish our strengths and our weaknesses, and then be able to focus in on those weaknesses and to build them up in becoming stronger. I was talking to my daughter today. I'll give you an example of this. I told my daughter that I might not be able to pick her up from school today because I have some things that I need to do, and that she may have to take the bus. Now, I was just posing her with this because, I actually have been trying to coerce her in taking the bus, but it seems as if this generation of children have a repellent against getting on public transportation. And it's been a back and forth conversation that I've had with my daughter about this bus situation for about a month now, maybe longer. And I just can't understand it. What is the big deal with having to catch the bus every once in a while? When I was going to school, I had to catch the bus every day. It was a no-brainer. It was a non-negotiable. But today, they have Uber, they have Lyft, they got all these different Waymo and all these different things. It's like the worst thing you can ask your child today is to get on the bus. And I told her, I said, you have got to think of this bus situation as a test of your internal strength. You seem like it's the end of the world if someone were to ever know that you caught the bus. But it's a testament to how you feel about yourself. You've got to be strong enough within yourself to make anyone looking at you standing on that bus stop see you as indifferent to whatever characteristics they align to people that do such. You've got to change the perception of that. You don't fall into the perception. You have to be that one person that thinks like, I'm going to go ahead and get on this bus and I'm going to stand in the truth of who I am while I'm getting on the bus. I'm going to make the perception of riding the bus bend to who I am. I'm going to convert this perception because I'm so solidified in who I am. Accountability. In order to be able to do those things, you've got to be able to hone in on the weaknesses within yourself and question them and say, why do I feel weak in this area of my life when it comes to things that the world deems as unfashionable, but that are just as normal as anything else? What aspect of myself is made to feel weak because of public perception? And it's that aspect of yourself that you must strengthen. You've got to find a way to strengthen that aspect of you, not to go into the world and market how great it is to ride the bus, but to strengthen yourself so that when someone sees you doing something as normal as riding a bus, not all the time, but sometimes, or even all the time, that they now see riding the bus differently because you rode the bus. Because you are so ingrained in your knowing of yourself that just you riding the bus makes the perception of bus riding different. Being accountable. Accountability is huge. I was sitting on the sofa because I'm bringing this up because I was sitting on the sofa thinking about, my next quarter, what I want to do with my social media presence in my next quarter. And I really wasn't enthused about coming forward and doing this podcast. Like I said, I'm at a precipice where, I don't know if I have to start focusing my attention on other things as far as business ventures are concerned to generate some activity so that I can keep doing this as a full-time thing. Or will I have to fall back and focus my attention on the business ventures and do this somewhat like part-time until I can get myself to a plateau to really get back into it full-time. And I began kind of beating myself up on it and really thinking, what would other people think of me? What are people going to think of me if I fall back? Or how will I feel about it myself if I fall back from doing my social media things? And I began to think, I've done a tremendous amount of work. I have a huge body of work on social media that shows my level of accountability. I don't have to communicate that to anybody. If anybody really wanted to know anything about me, they could look in any of my social media verticals, apps, and they would be able to see exactly who I am and what I'm about and what I do and how consistent I am to it. Yet if nobody wanted to know and they wanted to create a falsehood surrounding it, all they would have to do was not look. It's obvious as to what the activity level is, and that's non-negotiable. The activity level shows in your accountability. How do you show up? It doesn't, the activity level the accountability shows in the activity level only if you knew the stumbling blocks that one person would incur in coming forward. You'd have to know the full story. You have to know the entire story to be able to come to a conclusion as to who's who and what's what. But if you don't know the story, then you wouldn't be able to do that. And then if you don't know the story, then there really doesn't matter what you think. You don't want to know anyway. You want to just judge. So accountability is huge, you guys. I created a video, and I really should have just let the video speak for itself. But I didn't want to post the video because I felt like it was a little brash, maybe. I don't want to say harsh. It wasn't harsh. It was brash. I'm a very to the point type of person. And so I decided to do this podcast on accountability, because accountability is huge. Yet there needs to be some reciprocity along the way. I'm going to default back to what I said yesterday, and I'm going to stand on what I said yesterday 1,000%. There needs to be reciprocity in any level of accountability. There must be some form of reciprocity, or else it's just one-sided. In order to keep things going and moving forward, there needs to be reciprocity, and there needs to be fulfillment of promises and obligations. There needs to be something fulfilled, or else there's just nothing to it. And if there's nothing to it, then anyone coming forward and doing their own thing, either on social media or in whatever capacity, it's a hobby. It's just a hobby. And you can do it however you want. There's no criteria that you are held to in doing your hobby and expounding upon your gifts as a hobby. It's a pastime. There's no obligation. There's no commitment. There's nothing. It's just a love that you have. And you can come forth and expound upon your love in whatever vertical, in whatever way, and at any time that you want to. There's no obligatory stance regarding it. And I don't know if I'm communicating this the way I really want to, because the way I really want to communicate it, I can't. So I have to kind of dance around it in these really oblique kind of stances, which is unfortunate. But the communication today is that accountability is huge, and you can tell accountability by consistency. You can show what someone is, if they are accountable to themselves by way of their ability to consistently come forward and honor the promises that they have made to themselves. And even if you don't know those people's promises that they've made to themselves, you can kind of get an idea for what they are by looking at the things that they do consistently. The things that you can gauge that they do consistently, that they offer up to you. Yet you would get a fuller understanding of what they're accountable to by way of knowing the totality of what they have been dealing with all along. You would get if you knew someone was dealing with, a specific crisis, huge crisis, or crises, while offering up consistently their gifts, you would take a different stance on them and you would hold them to another threshold. You would be able to look at their resume and allow it to speak for itself, showing them in another category of self accountability, right? But if you did not know the totality of their walk and you were just looking at them by way of their output, you could still see their level of accountability, but not the full magnitude of it. And I don't know if I thank you for the encouraging words. Thank you, because I don't even know if I'm communicating in the way that I probably should. But like I said, I'm having to be very, I said oblique. I'm having to be very vague in my communications because it's just like that. Hope you all are having a wonderful Friday. I really do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday. And like I said, I was sitting thinking of different creative ventures that I'm looking to offer up anew and to expand upon in this upcoming year that I've already done. And that's really where I'm focused on today, and I'll be spending the weekend doing that. Looking forward to delivering on my Sunday service. I'm looking to make that more permanent. I think that's a good offering. I think that people will benefit from that, so I'm going to add that to my calendar of events moving forward. Sunday service will be something that I'll be doing every Sunday. And amongst other things that I don't want to commit to right here and now, because it's just the way life is for me. It's just better for me not to speak to it. But since I'm already doing the Sunday service, I can speak to that. And so that's not a surprise. Yes. And so that's all I have for you all today. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. You're loved more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Be good to yourselves and be good to one another. Peace and love.